What's up, everybody? It's your boy Showtimedr. So I'm here with your official banner review for today's banner featuring Elizabeth. It's funny, I usually have to go to the codex because for some reason they always put the 5-star skills. But I went to the spot where she's supposed to be, and lo and behold, she not here, man. So I gotta read it off of the page. Funny how this works out sometimes. So let's do it. Alright, so here's your new hero, Elizabeth. She is Nightmare Curse Caster. Alright. So, her leadership, increase wind and water allies evasion by 20. You know, might do decent on like an Ian tank, or if you take Marduk for whatever reason, but otherwise I don't see a super lot of use for that unless you're purposely stacking evasion. Frigid Gestures are 1, inflicts damage equal to 100% on one target, 50% chance to increase target's debuff duration by 1 turn. And I'm sorry guys, I'm not able to look at the skill and, you know, gauge on when you level it up, because I haven't added the here, although, real quick, let me go and see if maybe the 5-star version might have that, which would be kind of odd. Use skills, nope. Alright, well, I'll just have to go back then. Alright, anyways, let's keep going with the other list. I think the game crashed on me, what the hell? That marble. That's funny. Alright, sorry, back to the skills here. So, the cool thing about her 1, 50% chance, or excuse me, 50% chance to increase debuff duration by 1. That could be played with a lot for PvE, such as, you know, keeping Christians crit debuff up 1 more turn, etc. Stuff like that. That'd be really nice. So Revelation Crow, that's her 2nd skill here on a 3-turn cooldown. It's basically, you know what, I just noticed it. It's not capturing my mouse. Let me change that. Oh, it should be, that's weird. Well, whatever, can't fix it middle stream. So, okay, so inflict damage equal to 120% to target and 2 adjacent enemies, 50% chance to cast Crow Phantom to inflict damage equal to 30% of attack for 3 turns, if the target has any debuffs. So pretty much, in order to put Crow Phantom on, the target already needs some debuffs on them, is what this is saying, plus it's a 50% chance. But it lasts for 3 turns on her 2. Now her 3, inflict damage equal to 300% of attack to 1 target, 50% chance to remove all buffs. Alright. And then cast Crow to inflict, Phantom, excuse me, to inflict 30% attack damage for 3 turns. The enemy who removes Crow Phantom takes damage and receives the debuff. So now I'm wondering if, say you have 3 Crow Phantoms up, is Rue going to auto-dispel that at the end of her turn and then take on the Crow Phantom debuff herself, or does it all get cleansed? Or if, say, Rue uses her 2 or whatever, maybe Sid would cleanse it. But I don't know, so we'll have to see. Anyone that gets his character and uses that, they can report in and see. But that's on a 5-turn cooldown, so the cool thing about her is, you know, you take her into an Advent with a cooldown reduction hero. You know, 2 turns on her 2, 4 turns on her ulti, maybe 3 turns, depending on what kind of cooldown reduction you got going on. So that's fairly strong, considering she's going to need to be cycling all this stuff all the time. Now the problem is, we'll get into her passives here. Thick Forest. Increase caster's evasion by 7% per wind ally. 80% chance to cast Crow Phantom on a random enemy to deal damage equal to 30% of attack for 3 turns when attacking an enemy that already has a Crow Phantom debuff. Crow Phantom cannot stack. Now, basically they're trying to get you to run it with wind heroes with that stacking evade. So I was thinking about which heroes would go good with her. Probably Jacqueline, because Jacqueline likes to put up a lot of debuffs. Ruby herself does not. Callie does put up some debuffs, although a lot of them are dots, but she has a couple debuffs, like Brand. And I think those count as dots and not debuffs for the purposes of determining these buffs/debuffs. Now on her 60 passive, 100% chance to apply Weaken for 2 turns to decrease target's max HP and current HP by 90%. Every time the enemy is affected by Crow Phantom counterattacks. Increases damage to enemies affected by damage over time by 40%. So I think that last part is just separate from this part. So what we see here is, it says Weaken, but it appears to be a different Weaken. Decrease target's max HP and current HP by 90%. So that's clearly super strong. But every time the enemy is afflicted by Crow Phantom, that counterattacks. So not only do you have to get Crow Phantom on these enemies, but they have to be a counterattacking enemy, which, you know, there's Tayo. A lot of people build their Christians as counterattack. There's all types of counterattack heroes in this game. So once again, it looks like they've released another PvP focused unit, which, you know, there's quite an abundance of lately, this last month here. So, I don't know, my ruling on her is, because I'm guessing that the greater majority of people you would want to use that on, and when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about the 90% reduction of HP. In PvE, they're probably going to be immune to it. So, this is clearly a PvP focused hero. Now, there aren't people that really run all win teams in PvP. So, and even if, like, say you were to put one together, you know, what are you gonna do? You got Ian, Sid, this girl, maybe Callie if you got her, maybe Ruby, etc. Like, that team wouldn't really do much damage against the current PvP meta for the most part. Maybe Jacqueline, you could throw Jacqueline in there. But so, I'm just wondering what they're going for with this hero. Now, I still think the kid is cool. I'm not going to say this is a must-have hero, but hey, if you want her, you know, you got a thing for Dark Elves, you need an extra win hero. I personally thought that she was going to be attached, when I heard rumors of her, that she was going to be attached to an Advent, like there was going to be a new Water Advent. And as it stands, not so much, apparently. So, don't know what to tell you guys. But it's not a bad hero per se, just, I think she's gonna end up being like, what's her face? What was that girl with the gold? I can look her up right now. Remember her? Everyone's like, this girl. Isabel. You don't see many Isabels nowadays, so. And she came out, what, probably like 3 or so weeks ago. But whatever, not a bad hero. It just seems like it's like a little bit too much niche. Unless you really want that PvP meta unit for... You're obviously going to have to take her out of that wind element. You know, maybe run her with 1, maybe 2 extra wind heroes in PvP, and then... but, you know, there could be a use for her later. And maybe a new Water Advent, depending on what they're doing. But basically, she's there to punish counterattacking heroes. So, if you're cool with that, great. But until we know how if Rue can completely dispel her quote Crow Storm or whatever, or if you can be made immune to it with immune to abnormal status, or status abnormality rather, then we'll see. But anyways, let's get to the other heroes on the banner here. I'm sitting here trying to think, like, what heroes could you run her with? that this would be like a really effective combo. I don't see it right now, but I'm sure someone will find something, some rune combination or something. Alright guys, so let's go back to Ruby. Now, once upon a time, Ruby was top tier win DPS. She's still really good. I'm not saying she's not top tier, but well, I should go over her skills before I get into that. So, her leadership's one of the best for wind. Currently, if you have all wind heroes, like when you're running into Taio's dungeon. Put her at leader, give you attack 60%. You know, that's pretty strong. That's going to get you through the dungeon quicker, unless you're just starting out the dungeon, like you're starting out the game, which means you probably want to tanky your leadership. 80% chance to remove defense and attack buffs at the start of the turn. This is really easy to misread. It means defense and attack type characters, not just straight up defense and attack buffs. So you can remove anything that's undispellable. 80% chance with this at the beginning of her turn, which is very strong. The problem is it doesn't affect the meta hero, which is Amon right now. Well, okay, so the two tanks you're going to run into the most in PvP are Amon and Claude. Amon, his Revelation Signet, which gives him accuracy 40%, evasion 40%, and buffs the whole team 30% damage. It's undispellable. So Ruby would normally actually be really effective against him, but it's undispellable, so that's sad. And then Claude, you can dispel Claude's buffs, but the problem is if you dispel after he ults, it'll put Ruby right to sleep, so she basically doesn't get to do anything. But it's still pretty strong, because Claude can be really annoying. Now her 60 passive, 50% chance to decrease all skill cooldowns by 1. When attacked, restores 20% of HP when cooldown is decreased. This has saved her so many times, both in my team and against my team. If you have someone with like a multiple hit, like a Rue, or say Ashley or a Taio, sometimes she'll just be healing up so much from this 20% per hit that, you know, it almost doesn't matter the damage you're doing to her. Can be stopped with anti-healing buff or poison. But the reason that's so good on decreased skill cooldowns, 1, she's decreasing skill cooldowns on her 1 for her 2, and then 100% of attack, 1 target. It'll get to 160-60 when you skill it up all the way. On her 2, she's decreasing skill 3's cooldown at a pretty high clip there, 65%. This is a 200% attack. Caps out at 320. Her 2 is arguably better than her 3, which is funny just because it's on such a short cooldown and it has a chance to heal her. And then her 3, you know, hits hard, 300%, 5-turn cooldown, 480. The only problem with this skill is it doesn't do anything additional like a lot of the meta units do, like ignore defense or penetrate or anything like that. But still hits really hard, and odds are she's going to dispel a good majority of people you're going to be focusing, so a great unit overall. Just like I saw someone the other day, they started with Rue and Ruby as their starter units first day, and I was like, dude, that's a great start, because you basically got a strong DPS and a strong support, and they can both dispel some of the most annoying things in the game. But she's pretty good. For summon hero, I'd say, I don't know, arguably she's more useful than Elizabeth. But I mean, she's always been strong, so I'm gonna say right now, the best hero on the banner, in my opinion, is Karen. Karen's very top tier. She's, well, let's get into her skills and I'll talk about her. So increase water and light allies HP recovery by 20. Most of the time you're not really going to use that. On occasion, but not really. Maybe in a really hard PvE where you need some regen. Her passive grants 10% healing over time to an ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns at the start of the caster's turn. Very underrated, by the way. That's a good amount of healing for doing nothing. The caster's turn comes more quickly when an ally's HP drops below 30% once per battle, which is also super annoying in PvP. Like, let's say you ulti somebody, you get a bunch of debuffs on them, you got them stunned, they're at 5%, suddenly Karen will be like, it's my turn, even if she wasn't on the bar. Mwah. Everyone's healed, no damage, or no debuffs on anybody, so it's super strong. On the house, removes one debuff from an ally at the start of the turn, revives a dead ally with 30% HP, and applies Cozy Abundance for 2 turns when an ally dies. Cozy Abundance revives an ally once with 30% HP upon death, so not only did they give her a passive revive, but they also gave a buff that also grants a revive. I don't know what it is with this game and passive revives, but whatever. It's funny, there's a game I'm playing now, Epic 7. There is 1 revive in the entire game. It's like, it's kind of nice when you balance the heroes around, you know, their actual health pools. Pretty amazing. What a concept. But anyways. But it's not activated when an ally dies with burn. Most of the time that doesn't even matter. And does not stack with immortality, which is only one character in the game has immortality and no one uses them. So, but overall, pretty strong kid right here. It's going to save one ally from death, assuming that unable to be revived does not proc off, say, a Morrigan or a Nemesis. Cozy Abundance, that's also going to save them again if they die again within the next 2 turns. So, pretty strong passive kit right there. Now, her one, you know, it's just your standard restore, bonus restoration if the person is water. And you skill that up, that gets to 160, restores 10%, and then 10% more if they're water, so that's fairly strong. On her 2, cause one ally's turn to come more quickly and restores that ally's HP by 30%. Decrease all skill cooldowns by 1. Turn speed will not be affected when applied to the caster. So pretty much this right here is the reason to have Karen. The main reason. It's on a 2-turn cooldown if you notice, so if you take her in with someone that passively reduces cooldown reduction, this is going to be up every turn. It's so strong. You can skill it up to heal all the way to 60%. And constantly decreasing skill cooldowns and basically casting haste so that their turn comes quicker. This is super strong, guys. This is one of the best abilities in the game right here. Service with a Smile. Definitely skill this up first if you're going to go for a skill up. And then our ulti. It's really good as well, but it's on a 7-turn cooldown. Essentially, remove all allies debuffs and restore their HP by 40. 60% chance to remove 1 buff from all enemies. Pretty nice, but you skilled up all the way, that gets to 85% chance. Remove allies debuffs and restore their HP by 60, so... super strong. Her 2 and her passives are the main reason to have her, but Karen overall, she can actually solo Nikita, assuming that you get past the point where Nikita's summoning pigs. As weird as that sounds, and I personally don't have a Karen. Karen's actually my most wanted hero, other than Janus right now. Well, actually probably a little bit more than Janus. I go back and forth, but... so she's super strong. Definitely a recommendation if you don't have a Karen. I'll be pulling for her a little bit. Also, I forgot before I go on to Mina, let me talk about Ruby's skills. You definitely want to skill up her 2 first, because it's going to get the 320. You know, this is going to get the 480, but it's on a 5-turn cooldown. Yes, this reduces the cooldown on it at a pretty good clip. But the issue is, it has a 100% chance when you max it. But assuming you build her multi or counter, she's going to get a lot of cooldown reduction anyways. And also, when she gets hit, she has a chance to reduce cooldown reduction. So... you just want to, you know, gangster up her 2 first, and then I'd go for a 3 after that. Unless you're in PvP, then you can consider, okay, maybe I'll go for this just for the hard hit at the beginning of a fight. It's up to you, but personally I recommend her 2. So, and I'm sorry, I can't look at the other hero's skills, so, and I don't know her well enough to recommend which skills to get right now until they come out with that. Now Mina's the last hero on the banner. The good thing about Mina, she's one of the heroes right now that has a costume for sale, quote unquote, so you can buy it for 7 million gold. So assuming you get her that and you get her some decent gems, you know, she could be a little force in PvP. She's very much, there's a dark fire synergy, and she's kind of charm meta, but I'll show you guys as we go here. So increase Dark Wind allies multi-strike chance by 20%. You know, that's decent. Wind allies that you want multi-striking, probably someone like a Cali, which I know a lot of people don't have Cali, but more chances to go into stealth. Ashley, more chances to stack his dot, etc. Now, her passive here, obtain 3 Foxfire Globes at the start of the wave. 50% chance to obtain a Foxfire Globe when using skill 1 or 2, and there's a max of 3. Consume all Foxfire Globes to revive. There it is again, a freaking passive revive. Up to 1 time, restore 30% HP per Foxfire Globe when revived. So if she dies with all their globes, she's coming back at 90%. So that's pretty cool. A Firefox Globe release inflicts additional damage equal to 20% of attack for each Foxfire Globe when attacking. Inflict additional damage equal to 30% of attack when attacking a charmed enemy. So she has 3 Foxfire Globes, that's 60% bonus damage on all her skills. And then 30% extra damage against charmed enemies. Charmed, you know, she does charm, and, you know, if you run it with a Surdic, but Surdic's not that meta right now, and there's not that many charm heroes in the game, quite honestly. So on her 1, you know, it's 100% one target, 30% chance to charm the target for a turn. Now you can skill that up, eventually get it to 50% and base damage of 160. Pretty strong. She multis a lot, I notice, in PvP, so a 50% chance to charm, or even like a 30% chance. Very underrated. Charm is like one of the more annoying debuffs in the game. Now her 2, inflict damage equal to 110% of attack to 3 enemies, 25% chance to charm the target for a turn. So the charm's a little less, but it's going on multiple targets. And as you skill it up, base damage gets to 176, charm gets to 40%. 3 turn cooldown, you know, fairly strong there. And then consume, on her ulti, consume all Foxfire Globes to inflict damage equal to 120% of attack to all enemies. 35% chance to inflict damage equal to 25% of attack that ignores defense. 25% chance to stun the target if for 1 turn if there are 3 or more Foxfire Globes. It's always weird, it says like max of 3 Foxfire Globes, 3 or more, so there's always some translation issues. Now this is on a 6 turn cooldown. You use this, all of her Foxfire Globes go away, but there's a chance to get all of this extra damage, as well as you're gonna, don't forget, you're gonna be getting the 60%, assuming you have 3 stacks of it here. So that can be pretty strong, and her ulti can actually be fairly devastating because, you know, she ults, everyone's stunned, they've just taken a lot of damage, and then if you're running her with a bunch of AoE heroes, they can focus you down pretty fast, and say 2 people are stunned, then you get out of that, the next turn she hits you with her 2, and 2 out of 3 people get charmed, then she multis and charms a 3rd person. So she can wreak a lot of havoc in PvP now. You can get around this by having, well, A, if you can kill her before she does that, then it gets rid of all the Foxfire Globes for the revive. And then her ulti won't hit quite as hard. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you skill this up, gets to 192 base damage, 65% chance to inflict damage equal to 40% of attack that ignores defense. So that will be 40% extra damage on top of the 192. 40% chance to stun for a turn, if you got the Foxfire Globes for it. And that's on a 6 turn cooldown, so most of the time you're just going to see it once a battle. So not a bad hero, definitely not worth focusing on. But she's super cute, and I think she's a good character, so. And she's a hybrid, by the way, so I always remember that. Hybrids build a little differently with their passives than, you know, your straight-up attack heroes. But I mean, it's cool. So, recommendations on the banner. You know, none of these heroes are bad. Karen's definitely the top hero, in my opinion. And then if you can get Elizabeth, hey, maybe she'll end up being really good, who knows. But that is my banner review for now, guys, so yeah, that'll do it. So I am Showtimedr, Showtimedr. Oh, I forgot to recommend skill up video, skill up. For her, you probably want to skill up her ult, because that's her most useful skill. She's more of a PvP unit, though. You don't really see her in PvE too much. Ruby's a good hero, really good hero. Mina's alright. Elizabeth, the jury's still out. We'll see. They're not giving me enough information to go off of right now on her skill ups. But, alright, so like I said, I'm Showtimedr. You found my YouTube. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. And I am also on Twitch. You can find me there, twitch.tv/ShowtimeDR. There's a link to the Discord in the notes. And I always say "and" when I'm about to end. It's like my stall word. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any questions, comment. I'll see the comments eventually. I'll try to answer them. So, and if you manage to get the new hero, you know, give us your own review. Let's hear what you think of them. So, alright, guys, peace out. I'll catch you later.